What's going on, swim fans? Welcome to Whiteboard Wednesday, and in today's episode, I'm sharing with you how to swim breaststroke with perfect technique. In this video, I'm gonna break down all the elements of the stroke, including body position, the pull, the kick, streamline, underwater pullouts, and by the end of the video, I'm gonna share with you a few different drills so you can apply some of these technique elements we talk about so you can swim faster and smarter breaststroke than ever before. Now in this video, it's really designed to help all breaststrokers. So if you're trying to learn the stroke and you're just getting started, or if you're a more advanced swimmer and you're looking to take a couple tenths of a second off your 100 or 200 breaststroke, you've come to the right place. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Faris Sabeti. I'm the co-founder and CEO of My Swim Pro, and we help swimmers all over the world improve their performance and health both in and out of the water. So if you guys are looking to take your swimming to the next level and swim faster and smarter than ever before, you've come to the right place. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and let me know in the comments what you think about breaststroke. Now, before we get into the fundamentals and talk about body position and how we should really be developing the stroke, I want to first dispel some of the myths and talk about why breaststroke is a little bit different than some of the other strokes. You know, some people pick up breaststroke pretty naturally and others struggle with it. And we want to make sure that everyone can swim breaststroke and really get the benefits out of this fantastic stroke. Now, there's three main differences between breaststroke and the other strokes. The first is that it is a short axis stroke. Just like butterfly, meaning, you know, in freestyle and backstroke, if you divide your body with a laser and you kind of cut through the middle, you're actually rotating along that axis. Those are long axis strokes. Breaststroke is different. It's like butterfly. If you think about it, you're sort of pivoting your body up and down. Your upper body and your lower body are pivoting separately from a rotation. So that's a key difference, and that's why we train a little bit differently. The total body timing is so fundamental. That's the second reason. In breaststroke, just like butterfly, you have to use your upper body and your lower body, and they have to be coordinated with the proper timing. In freestyle and backstroke, you can essentially just not kick at all, and you can go pretty fast. In breaststroke, the kick and the pull are both huge. And then the kick specifically, the third element that differentiates breaststroke from the other strokes is the kick. In breaststroke, you have a frog kick. And so, you know, unlike freestyle, backstroke, and butterfly, your toes are pointed. And so in the kick and breaststroke, you have to flex your feet. We'll get into that in more details in just a minute. Let's talk about body position. So breaststroke is unique in the sense that every stroke starts and ends in streamline. If you're not familiar, streamline is the fundamental body position. It's where your body has the least amount of resistance moving through the water. Your hands are together from your fingertips all the way through your toes. This is what you do every time you push off the wall, regardless of what stroke you do, whether it's fly, back, breast, or free. And you really want to leverage the speed of the wall. And this is the fundamental body position for all of the strokes. But in breaststroke, you actually start and finish every single stroke in this position. And the more quickly you can get to a streamlined position, we'll talk about the timing, the more efficient your stroke's gonna be and the faster you're gonna move through the water. Now, streamline has actually two parts. When we're talking about body position, there's head position and hip position. And so if you lift your head up to take a breath in breaststroke or butterfly in the short axis strokes, what's gonna happen is your hips are gonna sink. Your legs are just gonna drag in the water and you're gonna move really, really slow. If you look at the best swimmers in the world, in breaststroke or any of the strokes, they do an amazing job keeping their hips really, really high in the water, even when they're taking a breath. So the upper body comes out of the water and the hip position remains really, really high. If you guys are interested, I did an awesome breakdown of two world record holders, you know, Lily King on the women's side and Adam Peaty on the men's. I broke down with the swimming equation, how they swim those world record swims. So for the advanced swimmers and the beginner swimmers, if you want to see how the pros do it and how they swim so fast, make sure you check out those videos. I'll link them in the description below. Let's talk about the actual mechanics of the stroke. So when we're talking about the pull, really, we're going to break it down. We're going to simplify it. So it starts and ends in streamline. And what you're doing is you're actually creating a triangle of space with your hands. It actually starts with your pinkies. And so your pinkies, when your hands, you know, you're in streamline. And when your hands start to separate, it's your pinkies that are on the top. And as you sweep out just past your shoulders, you want to curl your fingertips down and you want to be able to catch the water and you want to get your hands, your palms, your forearms really in a vertical position, kind of like a freestyle stroke. It's not going to be as dramatic as freestyle. And as you curl those fingers out, when you go just past your shoulders, you're going to make this triangle. You're going to bring your hands in. That's when you take the breath. So your head is down as you start the out sweep. And as you curl those hands back in and your thumbs start to come back together, you don't bring your elbows in necessarily. necessarily, but you start to really pull that water and you bring your thumbs together. At that point, you're still breathing and you need to explode your hands back to streamline. It's got to be really, really fast. And so your hand drive is really what sends your body forward. You got to lunge with your whole body and you've got to send your hands. You can have your hands, at the surface level of the water, just above the water, just below the water. Everyone's a little bit different, but really you want to cut through the water as quickly as possible because this is the path of the highest resistance. You're actually, if you think about it, you're pushing yourself backwards when you push your hands forward. So you have to make that as short of a time as possible because that's actually the slowest part of the stroke. And you want to send your hands forward. You don't want to dive your hands down. You're trying to move forward. Remember, you're trying to get to the other side of the pool as quickly as possible. So you send your hands forward. And this really times in well with the kick. And we talked about the kick being a little bit different. It's a frog kick. And the timing of the kick, if you're just learning it, you've got to flex your feet, meaning instead of pointing your toes, you're actually going to flex your feet out and you're going to think to yourself, up, out, around, and together. This is really engaging your hamstring. When you pull your heel up to your butt, you actually engage your hamstring the most, and the faster you can snap your heels back to your butt basically, and you really activate your hamstrings, that is, again, the highest point of resistance in the kick. And so think up, out, around, and together, and you want to really sweep out, and you want to keep your knees relatively narrow. You don't want your kick to be massive because if you open up your legs, you're going to create more resistance then you're actually going to benefit from having a bigger kick. So the right balance is about knees at shoulder width. So your knees really aren't separating that much, maybe only half a meter. Some people are even less than that in terms of how far your knees are actually apart. And a great drill you can do with that is if you just kick streamline on your back and think about keeping your knees underneath the surface of the water as you're kicking and focusing on bringing your heels to your butt. And heel speed is the key variable of tempo. So if you're trying to get faster at breaststroke and you're a more advanced swimmer, think about how can you get your heel to bring up your hamstring, to bring up that first part of the kick more quickly, because that's the thing that's slowing you down. If you can increase that heel speed, you're going to be able to increase your tempo and maintain efficiency in the stroke. Now the timing, this is maybe the most important part. I should have circled this. I want you to think to yourself, if you're a beginner swimmer, even a more advanced swimmer, pull, kick, glide. There's 3 phases in the timing of breaststroke. It's pull. We talked about the pull. That's when you get your breath. Kick, glide. So when you send your hands forward and you launch your body forward, the kick is assisting in that part. And then you're going to glide. What position are you going to be in? You're going to glide in streamline. It's our fundamental body position. You're shooting for max distance per stroke on every single stroke. The duration of which you hold the glide really depends on if you're swimming, 25 meters of breaststroke, 5 100s of breaststroke, 200-meter breaststroke in a race. That really depends how long you're going to hold that glide. But every single stroke, you're shooting for max distance per stroke. You're trying to get as far as possible, take as few strokes as possible in the length, maintaining speed and maintaining efficiency. Now, obviously, in the 50, you're going to have a faster tempo. If you're trying to race 50 meters, you're not going to hold the glide as long. But the best swimmers in the world are still sending their hands forward and trying to maximize, basically getting to streamline, which is the path of least resistance, as quickly as possible. And then maintaining that for just a split second. As you increase the distance to the 100 and 200, then we're going to hold that glide just a little bit longer. And the best swimmers in the world in the 200 long course specifically, we'll talk about the difference between short course and long course, but they actually change the tempo within the 200 itself. So that's a little bit fancier. Big key for all of these points is to remember that water is 800 times more resistive than air. So when you're swimming breaststroke, it is the slowest stroke because your body is sitting lowest in the water. You have the most drag, and that's why it's so important that when you take the breath and you're pulling, you don't lift your head up too high, you don't dive up and down, you maintain a high body position because the water is slowing you down. You want to swim smarter. Now let's talk about the pull-out. When you jump off the diving block or you push off the wall, you get 1 pull-out per length. So the way it works is you're in streamline, and you can hold this for 2 or 3 full seconds. And after you feel yourself slowing down, you're going to do 1 big arm pull, and you're really going to pull the water in a straight line, and you're going to send your body forward. Then you're allowed to take 1 kick underneath the water to bring your hands back to streamline. We'll have some great B-roll showing you how this is done. You are allowed to do 1 dolphin kick at any point before or after your arms pull down. So this is a little bit more advanced skill, and you get one dolphin kick. A lot of the best swimmers, they'll do this before they even separate, leverage the streamline position. And really you want to maintain integrity of streamline. If you have a really, really massive dolphin kick, yes, you're going to pull more water with your legs, but you're going to create more resistance and disrupt that body line. So oftentimes the dolphin kick is really more of a middle-sized dolphin kick, and the more you practice and the more you train and the more you race, you'll get better at determining how big of a dolphin kick it should be. But that's a more advanced skill. You don't have to worry about that if you're just getting started. And if you're doing more, 200, this becomes a much more critical component, especially in short course swimming. And when it comes to training, I really strongly believe that it's all about technique and race specificity. In the short axis strokes, whether it's butterfly or breaststroke, if you want to be good at the 200 breaststroke, you don't just swim 200s breaststroke, right? Because you're not able to maintain the technique and race pace that you're able to do. And as a result, you're going to be training your body to move through the water in a lower position. So you're training your body to move slower. And for these short axis strokes, you really have to teach your body how to swim high in the water. So train the body position that you want to have in a race. That means you need to train either at race pace, above race pace, but I also really factor in race stroke count. So if you're a more advanced swimmer and you know how many strokes you need to take, whether it's short course or long course, you need to train your body to take that many strokes, try and hit a certain pace, and maintain a high body position. I mentioned short course versus long course. If you guys are beginners, no problem. Short course basically means a 25-yard or 25-meter pool. When we're talking long course, we're talking the Olympic 50-meter pool. Obviously, it's a lot more difficult to swim with high stroke integrity and really fast for a continuous 50 meters. And in breaststroke, for sure, you swim a lot faster when you get that push off the wall, and it allows you to maintain distance per stroke and tempo a lot easier in a short course pool. If you look at, some of these guys going 148 in the 200 breaststroke in short course yards, it's a pretty good example of how few strokes they're taking. And then in long course, because you have less momentum by the time you get to the end of the 50, you've taken so many more strokes. Some of these guys are taking 5 to 10 strokes per length in a 25-yard or meter pool. And when you get to long course, it doesn't matter who you are, you're going to take 20 plus strokes to get to the other end of the pool. Therefore, you can change your tempo, and increasing your tempo by the end of the 50 allows you to maintain that higher body position and keep your stroke integrity alive. So if you'll see really advanced swimmers, if they're racing 200 meters, they'll actually increase their tempo gradually and actually pretty significantly by the end of the race to try and maintain that consistent pacing all the way through the last 150 meters of the race. Now, the moment you've been waiting for, if you're looking for some drills to apply some of these things, I have 4 written out here. The first one is streamline kick on your back. I mentioned it when it comes to defining your kick mechanics. This is a fantastic way to refine how you kick. It doesn't matter how good of a breaststroke swimmer you are, and it doesn't matter how fast you are in any of the other strokes, because this is something that every swimmer in the world can improve upon. You can always make your kick more efficient, whether it's, getting your heel speed faster. We talked about hamstring reflexes, catching more water on the outside, making sure that you're not too narrow, not too wide, having the right body position. Really focus on, if you're on your back, keep your knees under the surface of the water and have really fast heel speed. You can also do this streamline on your front. You can put your hands underneath your bum, and you can focus on bringing your heels all the way up so that you tag your hands, called heel tag. That's 2 drills in one for you guys. Another great drill that works on timing is 2 kicks, 1 pull. So you're going to be in streamline, you're going to do 2 full kicks, then you're going to take a full breaststroke pull. So by adding in an additional kick, you're really forcing your stroke to stretch out and emphasize what we talked about: pull, kick, glide. Instead, now with another kick, you're going to go pull, kick, kick, glide, and then another pull, kick, kick, glide. Try and have those kicks underneath the surface of the water, just under the surface, to really get that rhythm going. The third drill is a little bit more power focused, is freestyle kick with a breaststroke pull. This is a really aggressive drill where you're focusing on driving your hands forward. This is not a slow drill. It's really not about rhythm. It's about power, speed, and tempo. Having fast hands, really accelerating, through the catch, and then driving your body forward instead of riding up and down. If you wear fins, it'll make this drill significantly more efficient for most swimmers. And you should really only do shorter bursts of that, 25 meters at a time at the most. Now, the fourth drill is actually one of my favorites, and I am a breaststroker, so I love this drill at any point in the season, especially before taper. It's called Breaststroke Countdown. Now, the way this works is you do 825. So you got, 25-meter pool or 25-yard pool. And you start out, your first 25 is just a cruise. You do a pull out, and you should, if you're a more advanced swimmer, you know exactly how many strokes you're gonna take. And so for me, I take 5 strokes in a 25-yard pool if I'm cruising. And I'll explain if whatever number that you have. The next 25, you're gonna take 1 less stroke. So you're counting down. So for me, I take 4 strokes. Then the third 25, you're gonna take 3 strokes and then 2 strokes. And after you do 4 25s and you took off a couple of strokes, three or 4 strokes ideally, then you're in a really efficient timing. So to get down 1 stroke, you're gonna have to hold max distance per stroke. You're gonna have to stretch out the pullout. You're gonna have to be more efficient and really more aggressive on the extension with your hands, getting back to a streamlined position. And then once you've done 4 25s, on the 5th 25, you're gonna count your way back up. So you go 5, 4, 3, 2, and then starting at number 5, you're gonna go 2 strokes, then 3 strokes, then 4 strokes, then 5 strokes. And by the time you count your way back up and you're back where you started, it should actually maybe feel too difficult to go back to where you started because you're so efficient and you've gotten used to taking less strokes. You can do this with 825s, you can do this with 1025s. If you can't take 5 strokes, you take as many as you can. So let's say you start out with 12 strokes, then you go 12, 11, 10, 9, and then if you can go down to 8, go down to 8, stretch it out. But you don't want to get stretched out to the point where you completely stop moving. That's not what we're doing. You're maintaining a little bit of speed. Then you build your way back up. 9, 10, 11, 12. And that 12 should feel a lot easier than the first 25 that you did. This is really working on timing, max distance per stroke. If you're a 200 breaststroker, you should be able to do this drill all the time, and you should really be confident in how many strokes that you're taking. If you guys are looking for more drills like that, make sure you subscribe to the My Swim Pro channel on YouTube and all of our social media. We also have hundreds of different dryland training exercises and swim drills in the My Swim Pro app, available for iPhone and Android. And finally, if you guys are looking for a community of swimmers who are focused on swimming faster and smarter than ever before, make sure you join the My Swim Pro Facebook group, linked in the description below. We have thousands of swimmers from over 100 different countries, from beginners, triathletes, and former Olympians. Everyone's in there focused on encouraging each other. So if you're interested in that, make sure you check it out, linked in the description below. And also let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions about breaststroke or any other strokes or swimming in general. I wish you guys the best and happy swimming.